Hello and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Minton. Today we are back in the Brock Bourbon Bar and we are drinking bourbon.
Well, duh.
And it's good bourbon.
How do you know it's good bourbon? We haven't even tried it yet.
It's got to be good.
It's got to be good.
Everything that we're about to tell you, audience, it's going to be good.
It's high-proof bourbon.
It is Hazmat, and I am super excited. And we are talking about what is going to be the newest release from Garrison Brothers Distillery out of Texas. And this is called their Cowboy Bourbon. I guess they're calling it Cowboy because it's got to be manly because it's 140.9 proof, I think.
Yes, 140.9. And the master distiller out there, Donnis, calls it the piggy bank of his barrels.
Donnis.
Yeah, Donnis.
Somebody messed that up. Donnis. And his last name's what? Todd? If I remember correctly? Yeah, okay.
Is it Dennis?
No, sure? It's Donnis.
Okay. Sure it's not
I was being
backwards?
funny. What?
His name.
What do you think? It's Todd Donnis?
Donnis.
No, I don't think so. I
Okay.
think it's Donnis Todd. But Donnis, I mean, have you ever heard anybody with the name Donnis?
I have not.
No.
It's one of the most unique names I've ever heard of. Dennis? Yes. So, I mean, just, I don't know. It could be Tennis Dodd, but no, it wouldn't.
No, it doesn't have the same ring to it.
It doesn't. Anyway, Donnis Todd, the master distiller. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit more.
So he takes out his specific barrels that he wants, lets them mature for a few years. This is at least 6 years old.
Okay,
Juice.
so it's a blend of at least 6-year-old
Blend of
barrels.
6 years old. And the thing that is different about them is because of the climate in Texas. I guess that does affect
Oh, it's got to.
their process. I think Carl, you had said that they have metal rick houses.
Yeah, that was Nick. But yeah, they have
Nick said that,
metal,
yeah.
metal work houses down there.
Yeah, well, for those that don't know, like the Garrison Brothers is out of Texas. Some of them need. Some people just don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
But they have the nice Lone Star star as kind of their bottle trademark.
So refresh my memory. Where are they at in Texas?
They are from Hye, Texas. That's where their actual distillery and storage is, and they have offices in Austin.
Gotcha. So they have offices in Austin, and they're in High Texas. So I'm assuming the distillery and the rick houses and stuff are probably just outside of Austin.
Yeah, I believe that's right. We can look it up real fast, though, but yeah.
Well, that's what Google's for.
They started in 06. They're the first legal, as they put it, distillery in
the
Texas.
state of Kentucky, yeah. I knew that. So
In the state of Texas.
First one outside of
Outside of
Kentucky to make handcrafted bourbon. Authentic handcrafted bourbon.
So these bottles are really good looking bottles. I mean, they're
they're wonderful
They got the
looking
big gold wax and the star, and I mean, there's just a lot
the
going
dark
on with this thing.
label.
They got the great, yeah. Well, it's actually, it looks like to me, it's the label is that the writing is actually on the bottle. Like it's what's that clear embossed or clear coated.
Okay.
You know, I'm just going by the picture because they sent us a sample of this, so it was kind of neat, you know, with that aspect of it. So
the great
it's a
thing
good looking bottle.
The great thing about their bottles also is you can tell without even just looking at the wax which one you're looking at because they color code all of them.
Correct. That's pretty neat. So
I just got to say, looking at it, it is dark as hell.
it is. It's got one of the best colors I've seen in a long time.
I'm still waiting on my legs to drop.
Yeah, it's got a ton of legs for sure. So, all right, let's go in, take a little bit of a deep dive on the nose, and anybody got some notes that they're hitting on, things like that.
Immediate chocolate.
Yeah.
For me.
Chocolate.
Caramel.
Yep, chocolate.
Hints of like a really sweet vanilla.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that Madagascaran vanilla,
Yeah.
that really sweet.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of like something nutty in there.
I could see that. I could see some nuttiness. There's some really nice like tannins, like some of that rich tobacco.
Yeah.
Like a dark Maduro or something.
Anybody else getting a little tinge of honey?
So I'm getting plum.
Yeah.
I'm getting like a really dark fruit, like
Yeah.
a plum or
I'm getting more
a,
of that plum.
Yeah.
like plum or maybe what's the other real dark fruit I'm thinking of? Shoot,
Fig.
yeah, fig or
Fig or
plum,
dates or something
like that. But it's
Yeah.
plum because it's that stone fruity, like nice mellow, like it's just so nice.
It is.
That dark fruit, I love dark fruit on a bourbon.
A couple of the long noses I've gotten off of it, I've gotten almost just a little bit of like hay or kind of like a sweet hay at the very end of it.
I'm diving on the other nostril. You know me. I
Can't use just one. You got to use both.
can't say that I pick up hay, but I do. There's definitely some earthiness to this.
I think it's almond is the nut.
Almond?
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you
Getting
don't.
a faint cinnamon.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, let's dive in. Take a little pull, as Mr. Nick would say. Barbara's asking for water already. I'm not putting water in this based on the nose.
No.
Man.
So
I mean, you can put water in it, Barbara.
me and John's already taken a little bit of a sip, a small sip for me. I went back for the second one, but it seems like a lot of spice, but also a lot of sweetness right at the very tip of your tongue.
Agreed.
More of a tobacco vanilla type deal going on, about mid palate tobacco for me.
Yeah, tobacco, some more dark fruit. That
Yeah.
cocoa's coming through. And the funny thing, it's not chocolate anymore. Like on the actual
No.
palate, it's like the cocoa powder you bake with.
Cacao.
Yeah, like that because it's a lot richer. It's robust.
It's not a sweet chocolate.
No, it's not milk
the typical-
chocolate.
No, it's not milk
milk
chocolate.
or malt. Yeah.
It's not. No. But
Yeah.
but dude, the legs on this thing's insane.
They don't move.
They don't. I mean, they are literally coming off. They are absolutely crazy. So
Yeah, this thing's like viscous. It's like hanging in, from the mouthfeel standpoint.
Oh, I know.
It's hanging around really, really good.
as my grandpa say, it's hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit.
I'd be so pissed if that happened. Oh, I love biscuits and gravy. Just the thought of a hair in it pisses me off, man. Sorry, that was a bit of a jump, but
A little bit of a jump. We didn't know it would piss you off.
That
so
it would
much.
trigger me.
Yeah, trigger you. Oh my god, I'm so mad. I got a hair in my biscuit.
So it just coats your tongue and
It
just
does.
stays on it.
And it's like, man, I mean, like the front palate's got that little bit of cinnamon pop with that little bit of heat, and
Yeah.
like touches the tip.
I get like a white pepper because it's like it's that tingly.
So
little.
I'm getting the cinnamon from that, but I could see where you're
see-
saying pepper though.
I mean, I get the cinnamon too, but I get
You get pepper?
something else.
I don't know.
I'm more
Are
of
you
the
get-
cinnamon.
Are you
I'm
getting
going for pull two.
kind of almost like a little bit of earthiness, almost like I hate to say it, but like root beer?
I don't know about root beer.
Interesting.
I was thinking more like a molasses or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could go root beer, sarsaparilla, molasses.
Yeah.
I mean, all those are kind of in that same family, I guess, is what I would say. But root beer is actually not like the mid palate, like the mid to back. Yeah, like when you, it's almost like as you're swallowing, you get a little bit of that sweet, like. And to me, I would say more of a sarsaparilla-y, like because it's darker than standard root beer.
Yeah, I would lean more towards the sarsaparillas.
Yeah. So, but no, absolutely. That's a unique note. That's pretty cool that you picked that one up, Nick. Because I wouldn't have picked it up unless you said it.
I don't know if it's almonds, but I'm getting kind of a pecan. Not like a candied pecan, but just a real woodsy, kind of almost like the pecan shell.
Yeah, I'm getting a nut for sure. But like you said, pecan. I think Barbara said almond. It's so
it's
different.
something.
Yeah. To me, it's almost like it's even darker than that, like that walnutty, like something like that. But like, man, because everything is so dark and rich about this. There's plum,
I think
there's
the chocolate
cinnamon,
really
there's
like,
vanilla,
does
there's
that
chocolate.
too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are just on this thing. It's just crazy when you sit back and you try it. But man, I'm really enjoying this.
So I'm looking at the tasting notes that are on the back of the tasting card. Would you like me to read some of them?
Sure, go for
At
it.
this point,
At this point, we've all
might as
given
well.
given an opinion on it.
Warm plums, rhubarb, which I didn't get the rhubarb. But
Rhubarb, huh?
Yeah,
So I don't know if rhubarb is something.
So a tartness? I didn't get any
Well-
tartness to it. So that aren't rhubarbs typically more tart?
I don't know if I don't know what root beer is made from. To be honest with you, I know. But go ahead. I don't rhubarb. Go ahead.
cocoa powder,
Okay.
cherry juice,
Cherry. Yep. Well, I said tobacco, so I mean,
Yeah.
I was getting that sweet tobacco.
balanced by the earthiness of roasted pecans, and a touch of white chocolate and clove honey. With
Oh,
a
did get some honey in there.
well, yeah, you did say honey.
Yeah.
in
More
the
of a texture than a taste, but
Yeah.
but kind of that wild honey.
Oh, this one's wild. The finish is delightful with a mix of cinnamon Twizzlers, burnt marshmallow, and Werther's chewy caramel, and Red Hots, and apple cider.
Apple cider?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Interesting.
Because the cinnamon,
Hots
like that
in
cinnamon
apple
and
cider.
the
apple
nutmeg.
pie
Yeah.
spice. That
Yeah,
they
like that
have?
apple pie spice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could
Which
get
is-
that for the apple cider piece.
Which is what they're akin to spicy citrus, cinnamon, and a comforting apple pie.
Huh.
So that's what they're official tasting notes or
I don't
something.
think we hit the burnt marshmallows, but I think we hit a good portion of those.
Yeah, we had a big.
We got-
I
big
think we
chunk
hit
of-
about 90 of them. So
Yeah, we got almost
9%,
all
so-
of them.
So the funny thing is when they said the apple cider, like I didn't pick up apple right away, but like all the spices that go with it, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, all
Yeah,
those other things.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's crazy, huh?
I've never had cinnamon Twizzlers, so I can't say much to that. But
I've
I have
absolutely
done-
had cinnamon Twizzlers. I don't know that I,
I
would
thought
put
he
it on that.
misread that. They have a Twizzler that is cinnamon flavored.
Oh yeah,
But
Yeah.
overall, though, having that whenever they said the red hots in apple cider,
Right.
I've had that before. People drop
Oh,
a few
yeah.
of those things in there.
Yep, yep.
It's pretty accurate.
Yep. No, listen. This thing is. I mean, it really is a sweet candy bomb, and it's got some earthiness to back it up. I mean, this is one of the better pours I've had this year. I ain't gonna lie.
And the great thing is, it doesn't taste the proof
No, I
at
mean,
all.
Not at all. Not
It's
at all.
more like probably 115.
You just get that initial
I'm gonna say
shock.
one. Yeah, I'd say I'd say 118 to 122,
Yeah,
somewhere in that
somewhere in
ballpark.
there.
So, of course, I added a drop or two
Of course you
of
did.
water. Of course, I did. It mellows out for me. Now, Nick says that it gets really hot.
On the water.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, you're gonna make me to put a water in this stupid thing.
Don't do
Sorry.
it. Don't do it,
So
Scotty.
while y'all are going through the experiment, I'll at least let you know what the mash bill is, or at least with the Garrison Brothers standard mash bill.
All right.
74% corn, 15% wheat, 11% malted barley. So it is a wheater.
Weeder.
I never would have thought that.
No.
Well, I would not have. I don't know that I would have immediately went with wheat, just because of some of the earthiness. But with the cinnamon and the other things that's coming off of it, it makes a little bit of sense on it.
Now, the other part of note is that most of their stuff goes in the barrel entry at 114.
114. So it
That's
climbs
low.
from 114 to over 140. That many of them. That's crazy. What would happen if they put them in at 125, the legal limit, or 124.9?
You'd be probably 150ish, maybe.
I mean, it would have to be
mean-
hot as Hades.
Didn't you have the numbers for how many barrels went into this one?
118 barrels, and they are estimating a production of right around 9,600 bottles.
First 1,000 of those bottles are going to go to their most loyal customers at the distillery.
Gotcha.
Then they're going to release the others.
But I mean, it's still a
8,600.
fair amount to be Hazmat 140 plus.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm going to throw this out here. If anybody remembers our conversation with 291 out of Colorado, they had some really hot summers, and that was pushing up a lot of their proofs in their barrels. So if you're in Texas, you might have 1 or 2 months of cool weather, not cold, but cool, and the rest of it's you're talking about 6-ish months plus of
Well, I think-
100-degree weather.
mid 90s to yeah.
I think most of this summer they've had it 110 plus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's the stuff coming up in the next couple of years. It might get a little crazy.
So I put about 2 drops in what I had left. It's weird, like it loses a lot of the sweetness. It more of the ethanol comes out.
More
yeah,
of the
it
ethanol.
got hot and cinnamony.
Yeah.
The back palate burns a little bit more.
Reminds me a little bit more of like almost like a fireball-y type. You
Yes,
know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, this is a
That's
neat
weird.
pour.
Yeah, it's definitely a neat pour.
Or just popping red hots in your mouth.
Yeah, yeah. I've popped red hots in my mouth before.
So have I. I like them.
I didn't
And
put
Twizzlers.
any water in mine, but I'm just impressed that the nose still is just as strong as and they've been kind of sitting open for a little bit.
The nose with water dies off.
See, that would
Yeah,
be a shame.
here, try it.
Yeah, it's not as prevalent. The nose does die a little bit
yeah.
with the water.
Which is sad because it's actually a really great nose.
I'm waiting for John to polish his off so we can
Compare.
let it dry out and then sniff it after the fact. Because I think with the water, sometimes you're going to lose some of the
Salut.
little bit there. So
I think it drinks more to proof with water than it did without.
it's weird, yeah.
Legs are still sticking.
And I think it's a lot to do with that cinnamon flavor and
Yeah.
and it's almost like what Barbara said. When I added water, I felt more peppery. Like it felt
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there was cinnamon and pepper and some other things. So
Was there rye in this?
no,
No rye.
No.
Well,
Malted barley, but
Well,
yeah,
that
we're
was-
making the assumption based off their regular mash bill
Yeah,
that
okay.
it's sweeter.
We're some.
But I mean, normally weeders don't go that spicy.
well, I will say I did look up last year's mash bill, and it did match this to where it was a wheater. from
Okay.
last year's 2022 Cowboy release.
Now, this is definitely a neat pour because with water, even I think chilled would probably make it drink more to proof than what it should. Because it's so delicious.
Oh yeah,
without
pass
it.
that around. So I let it air out a little bit, and then after it's been.
Mine is untouched by water.
Oh, yours is untouched by water too. Okay, so yeah, so so is John's. That's the one I'm
That
passing around.
cinnamon candy
Yeah.
spice
Yeah.
is
You
crazy
still,
on that.
I still pick up like a tobacco of some sort.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's
I
like
lose the chocolate
Yeah.
though.
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
like it's like tobacco. It's almost like and I've never had one. I'm just saying, like if you could imagine a red hot cigar.
Yeah, I could see that smell. Like I could visualize.
I can almost see
like
it's like that might or dipped in chocolate.
See, I feel like I lost the chocolate
I
a little
don't.
bit.
I don't
I
get the
did
chocolate
on the
with.
second.
At least
I
the
don't
one-
either.
with it being with nothing left in it now. So, but
No, earlier when the tasting note had said cherry juice, and you would kind of compare that to that tobacco. Was that just like in terms of like a sweetness comparison?
well, so
between the
so
two?
a lot of times when I smoke, like what I would say is more of a sweeter cigar, like whether it be like a Swisher, or if you're an acid, or
punches can be sweeter.
Yeah.
yeah, like different things. But there's lots of like cigars that are kind of what I would consider that low to mid grade that are kind of a higher dollar, or even like almost like a clove cigarette. Like they've got some notes to it that like when I smell that type of tobacco, I typically almost always think of or pipe tobacco cherries and things like that. That's what I'm kind of getting
Gotcha.
whenever I smell that.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
even watered down, it's not bad. It's
No,
just not the same.
Yeah,
So
it loses a lot,
it does.
which is sad.
So I don't know.
That's a delightful pour.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I would
This is
definitely
solid.
recommend if you can find this, pick
Yep.
it up.
Yeah, if you can find it, pick it up. Hopefully, they're releasing it nationally. If so, it's definitely a pickup you want to you want to grab for sure.
Yeah, they said there's going to be a certain percentage that's going to be released to retailers.
Gotcha.
So probably the retailers are only going to get a certain amount. But
Did they
yeah, will
did they
get
say
it.
how much they're going to run?
Estimated retail value or suggested retail value is $249.99.
Yeah, so this isn't going to be cheap.
It won't be cheap. 6-year-old.
But each bottle apparently is hand signed by Donnis
there you go.
Todd.
Donnis.
It's a great spy name.
That's a great name. I mean, it really is.
Donnis
Yeah.
Todd.
I just want to meet this guy. He's a badass. Probably he's like big, burly dude. Donnis. I don't know, but go ahead.
It also has a customed gift box
There you go.
with a satin pillow. So
Oh,
it's boozy.
bougie, boozy. You
That's
said
the
boozy. Boozy.
No, it is. That's the like bougie. is
He's
the
trying to do
word,
play on words.
Oh, you're
boozy.
Gotcha. Oh, okay, you're
because it's a
oh.
bourbon podcast.
Oh,
Minton.
gotcha. I thought you just didn't know the word bougie.
No, not Jared.
Wow. Poor Jared.
He's not even here to defend himself.
That's what I was saying. Jeez. All right. Well, I guess that's our review of Garrison Brothers Cowboy Bourbon. If you want to find Bourbon Barrel Talk, you can find us on Facebook, the Instagram, or the X. Make sure if you have any messages, you can email them to bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, whether you're listening to Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, iHeartRadio. We're on all those mediums. Hit the subscribe button. You'll get it as soon as these episodes are dropped. This is Scott, Carl, Barbara, Nick, and John signing off from the Brock Bar.
Don't forget to share.
Peace.
Peace.
Prost.
Peace out.